hate this part. I don't want to do this.
Oh, rolling them out? It's not so bad.
It's terrible. It's the worst.
Ella hates it too, if that makes you feel any better.
Ella hates me too.
No, you don't.
You made fun of me taking a selfie.
I wasn't taking a selfie! I was fixing my hair!
I'm updating my TikTok. TikTok on the park. I don't know words. Hi, welcome back to Doofus Proof. Today I have a new lovely assistant with me today. She does not want to be famous.
I do not.
I begged, pleaded to say, hey, do this. The world needs more you. We have another recipe that I don't do because I don't bake. So really, I'm the lovely assistant who just talks too much. Today we have for you this, which is, I'm sure you can all tell, is going to be a delicious cookie recipe. We wanted to make sure to get this one out in time because there's big exciting things, at least at the time of our shooting this, here in the next little bit. There was a time when you weren't allowed to say the word for the championship game that we're talking about because the organization that owns it was like, hey, give us our money. And we don't have enough money to give them. So,
Just say football.
yeah, American football is going to have its championship game coming up. It's going to be great, amazing, not
Super.
bat, not spider. Yeah, super, man. It's a plate that's depressed like one of these.
A deep dish.
A deep dish. It's going to be this amazing deep dish game that's going to be happening pretty soon. And so we have a tradition in our house where we make some cookies for this. We've made them for American football, but also for the football that the rest of the world enjoys as well. But we've had exciting things like the FA Cup final or the World Cup and such things. So join us as we make our peanut butter sandwich cookies. Okay, we're going to start by softening the ingredients here. We've got half a cup of butter, which is one stick. We don't have to cut this stick in half.
Half a stick.
And we're going to put it in the microwave for 40 seconds at 40 power, and we'll see when that's done. And we're back. We now have this softened, hopefully. And so I imagine we're stirring those together.
Oh, am I stirring?
I
I thought you're the lovely assistant.
Yes, ma'am. We have a mixer because we're lazy. You don't need a mixer. This can all be done with this hand spooning, but we're lazy. I feel like I already repeated myself. Just so you know, normally the lovely assistants just sort of sit there and make cute or funny comments. They don't do all the work.
You said you're the lovely assistant,
Right.
so I'm just
So
making
my
sure
job
you're
is
the-
to sit around and do nothing and make funny comments. We do all the work.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Good enough. Good enough. So we've got our peanut butter and our butter mixture here in the mixer. And to that we're going to add, I think this is a cup of brown sugar, half a cup white sugar, a tisp of random brown liquid, that's vanilla extract. And we'll mix that together. So we've got them partially mixed. Now we're going to add eggs one at a time and another one. Okay, so that's mixed together. Now we're going to mix together our dry ingredients. So we have here 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. This is random white substance. I think this is 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. The way it's coming out of the bowl kind of confirms that for me. A teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt. And you'll just have to trust me that that's what those things were. And I'll have to trust me too because I couldn't tell them apart.
I think Karen's pretty accurate.
Random white substance. And then we'll also whisk in 1 package of instant vanilla pudding mix.
And it needs to be instant,
Yeah.
not
Cook and serve.
cook and serve.
Not that we've ever failed and made that mistake. Right.
Right.
Never. We're going to add in all of this flour. I guess that's the point of using the machine to do the work. She thinks it's pretty good. She's probably right. She normally is. And after that, we're going to add a package or about 2 cups. I was informed by my editor that this is not 2 cups, but it's this much. It's a package.
It's not 2 cups?
I don't know.
I always thought those were 2 cups.
You know, they've rebranded everything. Ice cream used to be a half a gallon. Now it's like 1.5 quarts or something. No, I think it's mostly to save them money. Should we measure it to see how close to 2
We
cups
should.
is?
I'm curious now.
The world will now know. That was not an effective way to open this package. Still good. Still good. 1. Put it in here.
Yeah.
Okay. Still just 1.
Huh.
And 3/4.
Yeah.
lovely editor producer who's not behind the screen being all vain, taking selfies or something, is right. It's 1 3/4 of a cup.
Normally, when you're making cookies, you roll it into a ball, but because we want them to be football cookies.
American football cookies.
Yes, American football cookies. You're gonna make them into more like a
Log. Log.
Anyway,
if you know what an American football looks like, make it look like that. Ish. Now, through the magic of video editing, it's going to go from in this bowl to being however many trays we need full of cookies shaped like footballs.
Ding.
Woo! It's there! Or something. Okay, so now we're going to bake these cookies. How many pans are we putting in at a time? All 3? 2?
If we can,
just 1?
If we can fit them, we can do all 3. But
as many as we can. We're going to fit as many as we can in the oven. We're going to bake them at 350 degrees for start with 9 minutes and then check on them. We're looking for them to be lightly browned and a little cracked.
Because you're going to be sandwiching them.
Making sandwiches out of them.
Thank you. So you need them to be a little bit harder, not...
But you don't want them burnt. No one wants a burnt cookie. You still want them soft.
It depends on if people like crunchy cookies. No, these are soft cookies, but not too soft.
And we're back. So that was about 10 minutes in our oven for these. As you can see, lightly browned, cracked on top, oblong-ish in shape. And so what are we doing now?
So you don't want them to be too puffy.
Domed? You don't want them domed, really?
Yes.
You want it to be like a...
So I'm just smashing them down just a little bit to make them not so poofy.
This will come important when we later decorate them with the almond bark. You want them to be pretty flat to give yourself a nice flat canvas upon which to work. Okay, so we're going to let these completely cool. And while they're cooling, we're going to go ahead and make our peanut butter filling that's going to go in them. So we'll be back. We're back. As you may or may not be able to see behind me, we've got the cookies cooling in the corner. It's the cookie cooling corner. Our cookies cooling. Anyway, while they're cooling, we're going to make the filling. As I said before, these are going to be sandwich cookies. A slight thing that we didn't mention earlier, in the cookie batter itself, we used creamy for that, for the actual cookie. But when we make this filling, it's going to be crunchy. Technically extra crunchy, because that's what our large warehouse store sells us.
Some people like smooth better, and that's fine. I just like to have the extra texture when you're eating it in a sandwich cookie. It makes everything else is soft, but the... No, we're not doing that again.
Okay, so we have some peanut butter. We have some vanilla, it looks like. We have heavy cream. Milk would work if we prepared enough to have milk on hand. And we have some powdered or confectioner sugar. Okay, so we mix it together. Is that what you do?
Remember? You're stronger than I am.
That powdered sugar really takes over.
Just keep stirring.
Keep stirring and keep...
That's how Bod's been down before.
Ugh.
How unoriginal.
Stirring the peanut butter. Something like that. Is that what we're going for?
Yeah, something.
We'll fix that in post.
Well, you don't want it to be too tough because then it'll be hard to not break up the cookies. We might need to add a little more cream.
Final volumes to be described in the recipe down under. All right, so now it's time for the arts and crafts portion of our recipe today, which I will completely turn over to her. But the general idea is we're going to make these cookies into Sammys.
So after they're fully cooled, you flip them over and then you use the part on the bottom to put the peanut butter mixture that we made. Then you find one that's similar in size. Hopefully they're all the same size, but we're not perfect in our measurements, so there's gonna be some bigger than others. And then voila, there's your sandwich cookie. We're gonna decorate them.
Through the magic of YouTube, we'll make a bunch of these sandwiches and then we'll come back to the decoration part. And for those of you keeping track at home, we started with 30 cookies and ended up with 28. I don't know where the other 2 went. The world may never know. So we have rough approximations of some sandwiches here. Next step is going to be to get our almond bark chocolate dippings, or another name for it.
Candy coating?
Candy coating? Candy corns, candy canes. No, different. This is different. some sort of chocolate coating to put on this. Since we're going for the American football championship game at the professional level, we're gonna make these look like American footballs. You'll see. Just follow along. We're almost there.
Okay, we've melted our candy coating. Now we're going to take our cookie and dip it in. I like to smooth it out with a spoon so you don't waste any. And that is the football. Well, minus the laces. Okay, change the plans because the dipping is starting to not work. We're just
I think
going
as
to...
the chocolate sets up a little bit, gets a little more thick, and then it starts to pull the cookie apart.
So we're just going to smooth it on.
Okay,
It's not super pretty.
it's not super pretty. I get it. I get it.
Wow.
Super. Anyway, so we're gonna let this
Set.
set. I like that word. We're gonna let it set. And then once it's all set, and we can go clunk, 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 I think, maybe. We will pipe on some white chocolate candy coating.
So we're just using a Ziploc bag and we're gonna cut the bottom of it just slightly because you want the hole to be really small, especially when the candy coating is still pretty
Liquidy.
We're gonna cut the end and then we're going to do laces and I'll show you how to do that. Where did that go?
We'll fix that.
Okay, so the way I like to do it, because you want it to make it look more 3D-ish and not just straight across, I like to do a curve.
So we're putting the laces on the edge of the ball here, so it'd be like you were holding it.
Right. There, do a little curve and then the laces.
Now, as we talked about in our last cookie video, you don't want these to be perfect. You want people thinking that you have store-bought cookies. You want to be the MVP of your game day party. And people want to think, wow, you put a lot of effort into this. There's no chance that this was store-bought. And so we have presented to you no chance that this was store-bought football cookies. And they do look cool. People are always like, oh, they're so cute. And the most important part is they taste really good. And here we go, your final product, a stack of cookies for everyone to enjoy.
For
Now,
the
yes,
championship.
the big game. I think that was for a while, that's what everyone was calling it because of copyright issues. I hope you make these for your parties. Doesn't have to just be for sport games. You could turn these into ballet shoes, I guess, if you wanted. Microphones, whatever you want.
Ballet
Cheer
is a
horns.
sport. And so is cheer.
No, sports.
Those are both sports.
Doesn't have to be for athletic competitions that involve balls, is what I was getting at. You don't have to make them in the shape. As always, recipes linked in the description. It's not linked, it's just listed. Listed in the description below. I hope you do make these and enjoy them. You can make them into whatever shape you want. Any athletic competition, that's it. The end. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, buy our merch that we don't sell, and we'll see you next time when we make another video.